What's up, guys? So this is going to be a quick video on the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. I did a video unboxing someone's stuff. I literally got it in the mail, took it out of the box, looked at everything for a couple seconds, and then turned the camera on to show it and talk about it a little bit. And I was a little confused when I first saw or read the letter from the person who sent this to me. The way I read it, it just kind of sounded like, you know, they were a little unhappy with it being an uneven grind, and they wanted it to be fixed up. But in reality, they commented on the video right away, which was cool of them to do, and said, no, you can do whatever you want with that. So I misread the letter to begin with. But also later, the person had commented too, because a lot of people were saying, like, I don't know, something looks fishy about that. Something just doesn't look right. Because a lot of you guys are awesome and you spot, fake knives all the time. And opening it from a viewer and just the way it feels initially, I mean, I wasn't scrutinizing this knife and I had no reason to believe that it was fake. But because you guys pointed it out, the person who sent it to me, the first thing they did was they bought it on eBay, which we'll talk about in just a second here, buying knives on eBay, higher end knives. But they went back there and they looked at the exact same seller, looked at their other stuff, and saw that the other stuff, or some of it at least, was in fact, counterfeit knives. All right, not fake. Because there's a big difference. There's copies and then there's counterfeits. A copy is a similar design. A counterfeit is when you put logos on there that are fake. They are not real. There's, markings, Spyderco, right? The logo. These are not real markings. It was not made by Spyderco. And I can conclude that this one is 100% fake. So, again, thanks to you guys for just pointing it out. I didn't spend enough time, even handling or using it. Maybe down the road if I use it a little bit, or maybe if I was sharpening up, I might have noticed some of these things. But the biggest thing, and what a lot of you guys notice off the bat, is the markings are just off. All right, the Spyderco and the CPM S30V, they should be lower, towards the handle here. They're not really in the same position. Like if you just Google, Yojimbo 2, or Spyderco Yojimbo 2, something along those lines, you'll see some pictures. And if you blow them up, you'll just be able to tell that these markings are not in the same position. They don't really look about the same size. They're very similar, but they're not the same. As far as like the hardware is actually pretty close. I think the heads, these Torx heads, are smaller on the real Yojimbo. It looks like there's a lot more surface and a smaller, size. But I mean, the scales, the position of things are pretty darn close. I mean, if you got this in hand, I've had a lot of Spydercos. And, if I wasn't under the suspicion that this might be fake, I might not know until you start using it. Now, the telltale sign is always when you use it. This is supposed to be CPM S30V. And if it's not, because it's a counterfeit, I'm fairly certain it's not CPM S30V. So once it starts dulling out quickly, then you start questioning it. Then maybe you start looking at this other stuff. So if the performance isn't there, that's when you start questioning things. But when I flip this over, I don't know if I showed the other side of the blade on camera or not, but the markings are definitely off on the back. All right, let me zoom in so I can give you a better shot of this. That's just, it's funky looking. You would never see that from Spyderco. So Golden Colorado, first of all, the Colorado kind of waves up and down a little bit, but then the USA Earth, it's just definitely not right, okay? All right, also, it's marking up top here. I believe it's more angled on the real one. I was trying to do a, side-by-side comparison with some Google images, because I don't have another Yojimbo right now. I had one recently. I kind of wish I still have it, just so I could do a side-by-side comparison. But yeah, this one happens to be fake. And it is a very, very good counterfeit. If these markings were where they were supposed to be, because they're the similar markings, they're just not lined up exactly where they're supposed to be. All right, if they were, this, who knows, maybe it might have been, passed along the line, traded. That's what happens sometimes too, is people get these fakes, and if you're new to knives, you don't even know that it's a fake. And, you end up trading with someone, and they trade with someone, and it gets passed along, and then at some point, someone goes, wait a minute, this is fake, and then the person who traded it doesn't even know. And then they're out a knife because they probably have to send their stuff back or whatever the case may be, and it starts arguments all the time. So yeah, that stinks. I'm still very much thankful for the person who sent it, and they genuinely did not know that it was a counterfeit or not. So it was still a very nice thought. But yeah, as far as buying knives on eBay, I don't recommend it for high-end knives. I think eBay is an awesome spot if you want to get some classic discontinued knives. That's one thing. You want to get like an old Benchmade or Spyderco from the 90s. I mean, some of these old knives I'm always looking for. Various different companies. Some companies never even heard of before. That's where eBay shines. That's kind of like when you're shopping on the forums where old knife collectors have old knives. You know, if you're looking for something really specific that's discontinued, that's where you look because you're not going to find those on the dealer sites. However, like this knife, if you're looking for something that's fairly new, especially if it's still in production, you have to, in my opinion, you should be shopping at a respectable dealer's website, something like Blade HQ. And there's a bunch of them. That's just one that always stands out in my mind because I use them a lot. Awesome guys over there. You'll never get a counterfeit from Blade HQ. They deal directly with companies. They don't buy like, you know, third-party shady stuff. They're not buying, you know, cases of knives out of someone's van in an alley somewhere. You know what I mean? With eBay, eBay is an awesome place for a lot of individuals to sell. When you're talking about a company, a knife dealer, a reputable knife dealer like Blade HQ and the many others that are out there, there are dozens. I have other videos talking about different ones. You can entrust that everything they sent is real. They get it directly from the people making it. Also, Amazon is a very good source for knives, but very important to note, if you're buying a knife on Amazon, make sure the seller is the company making that knife, not just some random person, because anyone can sell on Amazon. And there are other knife dealers, you know, that are very unknown, just basically someone somewhere with a you know, bunch of knives in stock. They'll sell like third-party sellers on Amazon as well, and I wouldn't trust that. If it's actually Amazon selling it, or if it's the actual knife company that you're buying, like let's say in the case of CRKT or something, you want a specific CRKT, you go onto Amazon, you see that the seller is CRKT. That's fine. You can entrust that. They're actually selling it. If you're looking at the seller and it says Spyderco and you're buying a Spyderco, then that's totally fine. If you're looking at the seller and it says, you know, Jim's Garage Knives or something, you know, don't roll the dice because you are taking a chance. I'm not saying it's going to be fake, but there's a better chance it's going to be fake. If you're buying a knife direct from the company through Amazon, it's not going to be fake. So I would avoid eBay for the most part, just because there's no reason to have to shop on eBay. Unless, like, you know, specifically you're looking to pay with PayPal or something. There's other dealers out there that accept PayPal as well. But yeah, I mean, I just, altogether, I would just not even consider it for brand new, current production knives, just because there's so many other options and the prices are very comparable. All right, Amazon has very cheap prices, even the real ones through the real companies. Buying all these different dealer sites, they're very competitive with the prices. All right, so it's not like you're gonna save a lot of money on eBay anyway. And again, use some common sense. I'm not sure exactly what this was purchased for, you know, price-wise, but let's say if you're looking at a knife and normally it sells for $120. I mean, you go on Blade HQ, it's $120. You go on Knife Center, it's $120. You go on Blade Ups, it's $120. You go on Amazon, it's $115. You go, you know, everywhere under the sun, it's $120. But guess what? There's someone selling a brand new one on eBay for $60. Well, use some common sense. It's probably not real. Or if it's $20, you know. So, I mean, sometimes a deal is just too good to be true. And in that particular case, pass it up, because that's what you're doing. You're just rolling the dice. You might as well go to the store and buy a scratch-off ticket and hope for the best. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm not sure the eventual fate of this, but I do believe conclusively that this is a counterfeit Spyderco Yojimbo 2. All right. So yeah, I mean, it's scary because they're making them so nice. I mean, as far as fakes, I mean, not every knife is faked. Obviously, popular ones are fake. Spyderco as a company is probably the most faked knife just because they're so darn popular, but I've seen a lot of them. I mean, I'm telling you, these people overseas in China and stuff, they are in tune with the knife community, and anything that comes out that's hot, anything that's brand new, they're all over it. They want to fake it. They want to counterfeit it. I'll tell you real quick because it's topical. Jason Browse. Jason Browse dealt with a lot of people copying his knives. He has American-made knife designs. They're all made here in the U.S. And at some point, there's so many people copying it and so many of these fakes popping up. He did, I think, the smart thing. And he said, you know what? If there's going to be a cheaper option, I'm going to be making that cheaper option. So at least I can control, you know, the quality control. And that's what he did. That's why he came out with this import line, which, by the way, I have also been using 2 of the import models. So you guys will eventually see videos on those. So far, I'm pretty impressed, you know. So anyway, the main point of this video was just to say that Spyderco did not screw up this Yojimbo 2 because they don't even know it exists. All right. So although some people did comment, said that they did have issues with things like that with Spyderco in the past, I still stick to what I said in the first video, is that I rarely ever see that. It's just not a common thing. Spyderco does make very good, nice quality knives, and their QC is pretty top notch. Every single knife company, things do slip by. Once in a blue moon, it's rare. I mean, you name a knife company, I'll tell you a knife I got from them that was genuine, that was real, because way back when, there wasn't nearly as many fakes. All right, when I first got into knives, back in the 90s and stuff, there were no counterfeit knives. There was good knives made in America, and then there was cheap knives that weren't. And there were some good knives that were made overseas or different countries, but they were so expensive, a lot of people didn't even, get a chance to use them. But today's day and age, it's ridiculous. Getting into the knife scene right now is harder than ever. There's just so many counterfeits, and it's very confusing. It's very difficult for a lot of you guys that are just getting into the hobby right now, But the best advice I can give is just, use a very reputable dealer. All right, when you talk to your friends, hey, where do you get your knives? You talk to people online, about knives and stuff. Ask where they get them. eBay should not be your first choice. All right, I would say that if all the knife dealers have some popular knife and it's completely sold out, then maybe you might want to check eBay. If it's the last place that there's one for sale, maybe. But I would probably avoid it at all costs. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Just wanted to give you an update on this. Spyderco did not screw up. They're still good. Not that it changed any of your opinions on Spyderco. But it is interesting that these counterfeits are so darn good that you won't really know it's fake until you start using it and you're not getting the same performance. Because that's the only thing I can guarantee with this, is that that blade steel is probably some junk steel. It just happens to have some fake markings on there. They're impressive. But, the performance never lies. If you start using something like this, especially if you get a Spyderco or any knife out there that you might suspect is possibly fake, use it. I'm telling you, use it. That thing dulls out in 5 minutes and it's supposed to be some great steel. Guess what? It's probably fake. So, like I said, they can have all kinds of crazy markings on this thing, but the performance never ever lies. You can have a Ford Fiesta and write Porsche on the back. When you step on that pedal, you're going to know whether it's a Porsche or not, right? That's kind of what I'm mentioning here. If you actually use your knives and stuff, you'll figure out very quickly that it's not the real deal. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.